what do you think is important in terms of what we're currently doing in behavior analysis, the differences that we're making, and where should we go from here?
My name is Nancy Marchese. I'm a board-certified doctoral level behavior analyst and a clinical psychologist. My goal is to help 2 million children with autism and their families by transforming their lives, and I can't wait to help you too.
I think that we need to continue to focus on providing really good services in the areas that have grown our field. So I think that the outcomes and the evidence for intervention with young children on the spectrum, I think that evidence base is something that should motivate us to continue to ensure that those types of services are available to children and families in the province. I'm worried there's been a big shift away from that. I think we're seeing some agencies not able to provide that, families not able to access it. So I think as a field, we need to be very confident about the fact that this is something that families should have. Children have the right to effective treatment, and we should advocate for that and support families to advocate for that. So I think that's one of those things that's easy to just sort of slide past, because at one point the province was the leader in the world for this. But I think that families would tell all of us right now, they're screaming it, that it's not happening for them. The families that want it can't access it oftentimes, or they can't access it within developmentally appropriate time periods as well. I also think, though, that we need to consider how we broaden our areas of practice. So I think what has made me really effective with many of the children I work with, many of whom have co-occurring diagnoses of ADHD, learning disabilities or various disorders. And I think I hear less about us working with other populations outside of autism. So I think we also need to remember that we have expertise and things to bring to the table for children who have needs in other areas, who maybe have different types of diagnoses. They may have co-occurring diagnoses as well as an ASD diagnosis, or they may not, and we can still be really helpful. So I do think we need to consider how to gain breadth in our training, in our education, and to work to facilitate sort of growth in these other areas. That probably is a bit near and dear to my heart as well, given my background experience working on child and youth mental health units at places like McMaster. And I really felt like the fact that I was dually credentialed helped me be a better psychologist. And I can remember having some clients where people would say they're not treatment ready, which I was always confused by that. I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but would say they're not treatment ready, or we aren't having success at this time with these more traditional approaches. And it was often my behavior analytic approaches that could break things down. And I can specifically remember one family whose son had had multiple diagnoses from OCD, eating disorder not otherwise specified, generalized anxiety, depression, some other types of personality diagnoses. He was actually in a wheelchair despite no physiological assessment turning over any reason why that would be the case. And I started working with him, and he wasn't eating independently. He was about to enter high school, had been sort of a gifted child, athletic, and sort of his life had really kind of crumbled. And when we started working, we worked on a task analysis. How do we break down these small steps? And we worked on small steps in terms of both walking steps and in terms of taking bites of food. And we built the behaviors that allowed him to see his success. And then we could address some of the cognitions and the thoughts, etc. And I think that we have so much to offer in so many other disciplines. But I'm not sure if we're creating those opportunities or seeking them out. So I think I would love to see more of that. It's been positive to see the growth of acceptance and commitment training and people working on helping folks identify their values and engage in behaviors towards those values. I think those are all important movements. So I think there's both. I think there's a focus on what has been our foundation and not letting families continue to suffer from lack of effective treatment options. And then there's also we have many things to contribute to other.
There's only so much we could cover in the short amount of time we had today. If you found value in what we talked about, go to breakthroughautism.ca, join our newsletter, and also follow me on my socials.